Tara, I know they often try to describe your music sort of as folk or kind of Americana, but do you have a way that you all describe the music that the Wandering Hearts make?
No, because we don't
That's
because
fair.
we are influenced by so many different types of music. And so when we met, the kind of the through line, the fundamental was vocal harmonies. Like that was the thing that we were passionate about in country music and folk music, in pop music, in blues music. Um, so I think most often we're kind of classed as Americana, and that's worked really well for us because Americana seems to welcome in those people that don't seem to want to commit to a specific genre. Those that go, I'd like to borrow some of this and some of that. And for us as artists, it just gives us so much freedom to be able to write what we want to write and be inspired by what we want to be inspired by. So if we have to, then we'll quite happily take Americana, but it depends on the day of the week, really.
Yeah.
Just who are some of the artists that influenced you to become the musician you are today?
Personally, I mean, we have quite a lot of crossovers between us, and from when we met, that was one of the big things that we bonded over was the crossover of artists that influenced the music, well, the music that we wrote and all the music that we were listening to. I remember Chris Stapleton at the time being a big one, and and he wasn't that well known here. He was kind of just up and coming, and we were going, "Oh my god, do you know Chris? Oh yeah, like I
Yeah.
love that record." And so there's been a few moments like that, but I mean, for me, like I kind of really got into like First Aid Kit and those kind of close kind of sister harmonies, Lucius, like later on, like I guess like early 20s, I was listening to a lot of that. But like growing up, like similar to the guys, growing up, we just had a lot. We had like James Taylor and Van Morrison and the Eagles and the Beatles and um, Mamas and the Papas and all of that music that um, I don't know, that it just doesn't seem to. It's like my son, who's 3, has a playlist that he listens to, and it's all the same. It's all that music. It's all got this like timelessness to it. That's like, he's not listening to like the most modern pop song. Neither am I, to be fair. But like, he's growing up listening to the same songs that like my dad would have grown up listening to, which is just wild because it's like the music is timeless. Like, it's like it's amazing. So yeah, there's definitely something in that kind of era, that kind of 60s, 70s era of music that just doesn't seem to get old.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of harmonies, a lot of folk, but also kind of that kind of, I guess, more rocky stuff. Like the Eagles did a bit more kind of rocky stuff at one point, and like that's cool. And yeah, so like quite eclectic, really.
Well, AJ, this is such a beautiful retelling of the Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Young album Deja Vu. Where did the idea for you all to revamp this come from?
Well, it's a bit of a funny one because when we when we first got together, I don't know whether it was because of like links necessarily to begin with through like Americana or country thing or whatever, but I think it was more to do with the fact that initially, like when we first got together, we were four kind of like front people, and then we became three kind of like singers, like harmony singers. And so like initially a lot of people compared us to like other harmony bands like ABBA or Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young and stuff. And so we kind of got a bit used to hearing some of these kind of um
Comparison.
like comparisons. Thanks, that's the one I wanted. Comparisons. And we our publisher when we first got together, still our publisher today, Blue Raincoat in everywhere. And the the boss man at the time, Robin Miller, was like, he said to us, like, one of the early days was like, oh, it'd be great to hear you guys do Deja Vu by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young in like the whole album one day. I'd love to hear that. And we were like, oh yeah, yeah, that would be that'd be pretty sick actually, Robin. Yeah, I reckon we could. That'd be pretty fun to do. Um, and yeah, years later, um, we were kind of reminded about that conversation. We were like, yeah, do you remember? He said that. And we were up for it. It was just more a question of like how and why, right? At that then. And eventually, like the why just kind of like was just because. And also the how, we just got really lucky because we've got some great friends in the desert with an amazing studio and really great friends who are incredible musicians. And then that managed to like then we could visualize it and then we could do it in reality as well. So that
And
was the how and the why.
Chess, our house is just a beautiful tribute to these iconic musicians. Where did the concept for that come from?
It's funny. I keep getting feedback from like friends and family just saying like how beautiful a song it is, and they keep saying, "Oh my God, like why are we not hearing it everywhere? Like why is it not everywhere? It's such a beautiful take on the song." And I think it's it was kind of the one song really that we felt we wanted, not that we wanted to change, but like we felt that we wanted to maybe put a bit more of our stamp on. The rest, like the majority of the album, we've stayed pretty true to the original. And with Our House, it's such a beautiful song, and so we have made it a bit more ballady, and harmonies just suit those kinds of ballads, and so it was um yeah, we just it kind of started really from the guitar. So the guitar changed from that like original. It's kind of, was it Keys original? I can't remember, but it's kind of like quite not plinky plonky, but it's quite like upbeat. Kind of has that like perkiness to it. The original,
Mm.
doesn't it? Um, and so we decided to like really slow it down and make it like a much smoother kind of melody, and then that enabled us to have like with the vocals to be able to bring it like just to be able to like really smooth it out and have those kind of big swells, and like which we love doing
Mm.
together. We love being able to follow each other, and that all comes annoyingly naturally to us. And we have great fun at like experimenting with things like that, and with it not being our music kind of gives you another layer of freedom in a sense, in a way that you kind of, I don't know, feel more limited with your own music. Oh no, it's got to be like this because the last one was like that. It's got to be like this because was with this. It's like, yeah, okay, there's an original, which is a really, really famous classic. Why would anyone? No one asked for it. No one asked for us to do this. But I'm so glad we did. It's like it's been such an amazing process, and yeah, like I say, that song really was the one that we kind of did a little bit more with, and well, actually less than, it's actually a lot less than the original. So yeah, so it's good fun.
Sorry, just talk a little bit about breaking down the song Our House, but how do you all tend to chop up a song and make it each individually parted for your voices? How do you work when you have either a song you've written or a song like Our House where you try to fit yourselves perfectly for each part of the song?
I think
Fight.
I think sometimes no, we really don't. But I think a
Well,
lot of
rock, paper, scissors at some point.
yeah, but just don't always go for rock, okay?
Yeah.
That's just always, I always forget and I just do that. I think it's a funny one because like Chess was saying earlier that the harmonies always kind of felt quite natural. The music industry is a stupid one. But the harmony one and the singing part of it, is the lovely part of it. And I think when we were breaking down this album, it kind of became, from the most part, other than a couple sort of surprises that we played around with, they kind of felt quite logical. Chess has this really kind of beautiful, light, quality to her voice that was like, you should definitely do some of the Neil Young songs. Like, we want to hear. It was more a case of like, I want to hear what that would sound like. So it's also, I think, because we're all big fans of one another as individuals and as you know, when we sing together. So I think with our house, I think what the guys were like, could you just try that and see how it feels? And sometimes you sing things and you're like, oh, that does, it feels nice, or like, I don't really like that. I'm not really sure. So, and then with the writing for our own songs, we're pretty good at just writing the song, and just kind of going, let's not worry about the key, let's not worry about who's got what, let's just write the song. And then afterwards, then we can go, all right, let's just try that. Let's try that, put the capo on 3, and AJ, you try that. And then it's like, okay, Chess, you do that. So there's not, we all have egos, of course we do, but there does seem to be a real kind of core collective ego that we have had. And I think that's the reason that 10 years in, we're still best friends making music together, because it's never a case of, I want this for me. It's normally one of us is going, you should do that before someone claims it. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's sweet and very thoughtful. You, I'm sure, learned your lesson many times over at this point of, um, as you said, rock doesn't eat everything.
Yeah,
Exactly.
no.
No, it doesn't. So yeah, so that's how we got here.
AJ, Dear Children is just a beautiful rendition. Our House is just a beautiful rendition. Your voices just are bananas good on this album. Do you
Thank
have a
you.
particular favorite song, AJ, that you are most proud of the work the three of you put into for this album?
I think it's really hard to pick a favorite, to be fair. But there was definitely like a few moments, I think, where we were all like in the same room together, singing, um, singing songs together, where it felt like we were, doing that some of our best singing. Uh, and it felt like, that was really kind of very kind of like not only life affirming, but you're doing something right, and it feels like that. And yeah, that was my favorite one, whichever one that was when we were doing that.
Tara, do you have a personal favorite song that stands out on Deja Vu?
I think, to be fair, I think Deja Vu was the song that I was like, I'm really happy to do all of the songs, but do we have to do that one? Like, that's the one that,
Yeah.
like, I was like, that's the one that I would have quite happily have gone if they have to leave one off, because it's freaking, like, it's bonkers. Like, how they wrote that, it was so probably that one, because I think that that's the one that's had the greatest, it's not, we haven't done it for that long, but it's had the kind of the greatest legacy from this project for me, in terms
Mm.
of how it might inform our writing, how it might change us going forward. It's like, should we do something that does, like, how can we make this weirder, for want of a better word? How can we make this like, because we were listening to it going, how many parts are in this? Is there like 12? And how are they, like, what is the melody? And we would just sit there. Normally we've all got good ears and we kind of go, if I've ever been here before, I can. And it was like, I remember sitting on the piano going, if I ever been here before, I was like, what is this melody?
Yeah.
So when I hear that, and we still haven't played that song live, so when I hear that, I'm so proud of those people, us, for doing that version of
And good luck when that
the
happens.
like, really impressed, but also terribly daunted that at some point soon we're actually going to have to do that. So I'm proud of them for doing it, because I can have something to follow. But yeah, that one was
You'll
definitely the one
see.
that I'm like.
Okay, well, that promotes my next question. You guys are headed here to New York, to London. You're be doing Glasgow and some other stops here throughout the summer. Chess, are you looking forward to performing particular songs live? As far as Tara's already said what she's nervous about.
Yeah, and I think I'm really excited to perform the whole thing. Like, it's going to be the first time, like, it's not often you get an opportunity to like do a show and just play one album start to finish. And so
As it
that's
is
what,
on the record as well.
as it is on the record. And so that's what our London show is going to be.
You'll do it in
And
order and everything?
yeah, just going to play the record, like start to finish. And so that's really exciting because like we've got our amazing bands that are going to join us for that. And it's, I mean, it really actually, as much as we're the singers and it's our name, it's actually the band is going to be the thing that like steals the show because
Yeah,
the music is so amazing and so bonkers and wonderful that that's the heavy lifting, really, in my opinion. The heavy
yeah.
lifting is the band. So I'm
We're
really
just
looking
tap
forward to
dancing on the top.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm really looking forward to seeing them and what they do because
Yeah,
that's gonna be really good fun. And yeah, just like it coming to life because when you record something, you know, when you make an album, it sometimes takes a while for it to get into your body because you write a song, record it, and then you tour the album. And it takes a while for that. But because we know these songs, because these are songs that we, you know, because they're well known songs already, it has this weird like you're kind of one step ahead already, and it's not
mhm.
because it's not ours. People already know the music, so it's so I don't know.
They
It's just
already
gonna
know
be
how to
really,
sing along to the
yeah,
songs already. They already know the
Yeah,
words.
so,
They
yeah.
sound,
yeah. So
but
it's
it's
gonna be a
gonna be your unique
really
take on it.
yeah, it's going to be a really different experience, I think, from
Mm.
what we've done before, and it's great. I really hope we get the opportunity to do more of it with a full band and playing this
Yeah,
record, and just because it's great fun, because we just have the most fun.
This, I think, is such a poignant album still to this day as well, especially during this time in our lives. What do you hope lingers with people or stays with them either as an emotion or message from listening to Deja Vu, your version, certainly?
Was that to me? Sorry, I was like, oh, which one's that? I think I hope it. You know, I think it was when Chess was talking about with her son listening to this music, and I think I really hope. I think it's slightly wildly ambitious that we've taken this project on. No one asked for us to redo this brilliant album that exists and is great. But what I hope it might do is maybe introduce it to a different audience, you know, maybe to people that didn't already know this stuff, that weren't lucky enough to have grown up with this. And does it inspire you to go and look at other music from this period? Does it make you go on a deep dive finding some Janis Joplin? Does it help you find some more James Taylor? Does it help you find Tom Petty? Does it, you know, does it help you? You know, I remember we all remember those albums when we were kids that are the ones that you're like, has anyone ever heard this? AJ always talks about when he first heard Elvis, and he's like, I was a teenager listening to depressing emo music. I'm paraphrasing for you, Age, and I heard this guy, and I
emo.
was like, I don't know, depressing
You might
music.
have been in an emo. I
Probably
think
some. To be
you
fair,
were in an
probably
emo
some.
phase. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you were for the
Probably,
purpose
yeah.
of this
I was
story.
very alt. I was very alt.
Alt,
I was
alt.
like very alt indie.
Paige always talks about like listening to Elvis and like listening to like it making you happy, and so like maybe it does something. Maybe it helps somebody. I'm a huge fan of lots of new pop music, but wouldn't it be great to kind of rediscover and help people get even more millions of
Mm.
Spotify fans? But yeah, I think that would be a really good legacy if it
They're
can just.
legends for a reason. And I
Yeah.
think
Exactly.
amplifying their initial messages that they created and reminding people that sadly these still remain, but also your voices are just so beautifully melding together that you also think, okay, for those people who've never heard this before, this is obviously a Wandering Hearts out. This is a Wandering album. Like if you hadn't told me, or I know because I'm old, but what this that this was a Crosby, Stills and Nash art, I know who they are. But if you hadn't told someone, I think this is just another beautiful The Wandering Hearts album, and I think that reflects wonderfully on the camaraderie you all have and the voices you have to bring it to life. So I'm curious, AJ, what do you guys want to say to your fans, people who continue to support the incredible music you all make?
Oh, if there's anybody still with us, then we want to first of all say thank you very, very much. But yeah, we hope to keep making more music, and we love sharing music we love with people, and we love being able to come and sing for people. Um, we love, yeah, we love it, and we hope, if people are into that as well, then hey, we're gonna just carry on doing it for as long as we can keep doing it for.
I mean, Chess has already created the next generation of Wandering Hearts fans.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're making a band. I'm pregnant with my second one as well. So we're starting. Tara's got one. So we've got three boys. There's the band. That's all you need.
It's
Three's the magic
brilliant. You're
number.
right. The Beatles, they each play an instrument. You guys,
Yeah,
again, have to rock, paper, scissors. I'm sorry, we're bringing it
yeah, yeah, yeah,
full
yeah,
circle to figure out the next
Real
generation.
legacy band stuff. This is how it starts. Yeah, you just
yeah,
like
yeah.
the band never really dies. You just keep passing on the
Passing
baton.
it on.